Good morning guys, welcome back to the channel once again. So it's 9:30 in the morning here, and the first job on the cards is this Triumph twin barrel that we've got to bore out. So well, as you can see, I've actually roughed it out so far, but we've got the new pistons here, and compared to the old pistons, they're more of a sort of modern style. So we're running a very slightly tighter running clearance than the original. So these barrels were actually at plus 10 thou already, and we've got to go out to plus 20, which is near enough half a mil. So we've only got to go out another 10 thou. So when there's only sort of 10 thou to come out, rather than set it up on the boring bar and attempt to bore it, we normally just hone it. So we put the rough honing stones here in the Delapina hone. Sorry about the noise, that's John just doing a bit of pressure washer in. So yeah, as I say, we set the rough stones up, the coarse stones, and they take the majority of the material out. And what I normally do is rough the barrels out until there is sort of a thou or two left in there, cold, and then I set the fine stones up and finish hone it. So we have a look at the gauge here. You see that I've left the small dial there is on the 2, that's what I've set it at, and this is running 4 thou. The 0 is 4 thou running clearance, so that means the bore will be 4 thou bigger than the bottom of the piston skirt. And you see there's a thou left in there, just over a thou at the bottom, near enough 2 actually. So yeah, it's closed up at the bottom more, but that's because, as you can see, the liner sort of protrudes a couple of inches below the bottom, so that will be a bit different to the top. But I've just fine honed, that one's roughed, just fine honed the right hand bore here, and you can see, as we normally do, we've gone sort of just over half a thou. You can see he's closing up in the middle there, so once that cools down, that should be on the 0. If not, we'll ease a little bit more out and then do the second one. So that was the first job of today. Second job of today is we have another mini head. Seem to have a lot of these, either mini heads or engines, always got something in here. And this head is in for an unleaded. So what that means, as I may have explained before, we machine out the old cast iron built-in seats and fit new hardened inserts in there, so this can run unleaded fuel. Also, we've got some nice bronze modern guides to go in, and these are the later guides that we can fit the valve stem seal to. So I'm going to set about fitting those guides first. I'm going to measure up and order the seat inserts, and yeah, then we can get this one on its way. So we're going to be tackling this today, and this here, boys and girls, is the first job we have off a YouTube subscriber. So really appreciate that, thank you very much indeed. And just goes to show it's the channel is putting us more on the map, because this one's from up country. So this is a V6 Volkswagen R32 motor. So this is the 24 valve as opposed to the 12 valve engine. So this is in for an obvious good clean up. We've got to put valve guide sleeves in the cylinder head, and I will show you the K-line setup in a minute as to what we do there. It's in for a rebore, reface the block, obviously a good clean up, paint that. The crank is a check, but looking at it, it looks like it's done a big end. So we're gonna have to set that up and see if we can grind that, see if it make sure it's not bent. Check obviously all the other journals, and we may have to grind the big ends by the looks of it. So yeah, on the cylinder head, we've got to do the guides. You've got to, on these, they do suffer a little bit with a bit of play on the exhaust guides especially. So what we use there, rather than press the guides out and new ones in, we use a K-line system, which is these here, you see we've got all the various sizes on that. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure whether they're M7 or M6, something like that, but say for instance it's M7. What we do, we've got the kit here, we've got various balls at the various sizes. So what we will do is we've got the tool here, which you see at the top bit basically acts as a pilot that goes down the existing borehole, and it bores it out to this, which is the correct outside diameter to press the sleeve in. So here is one of the sleeves. You see there, to be honest, a lot of the time we prefer these because you can get the sizing so right. Inside you've got serrations which hold any lubrication. Because of the material, which is seems to be tougher than the original bronze on the original guides, they just don't seem to wear anything like the original. Plus the advantages with these, if you've got any sort of variation, I mean we've put new genuine guides in cylinder heads before, and they're still a little bit sloppy. So with these, the advantages with these, you can, once that's pressed in and you've sort of faced it top and bottom, you've got a selection of balls here at the various sizes, and you can, all you do is you press those balls through the guide and it sort of stretches it out, and you get a perfect, the perfect fit that you want. So yeah, very good system that. And as I say, it does have some advantages over using new normal guides. So that's what we're going to do on the VR6 or the R32 engine. So what else have we got? We've got to bore the block on these. Now the trouble is with these blocks, as you may well know, it is a V6. You've got one cylinder head as opposed to two cylinder heads. So what they call this is a narrow V. I've got a feeling they're sort of 15 degree or something like that. The only disadvantage with this is when you're boring it, we have to just hone it with the rough stone. So we've had these in the past where the guys want to go big bore on it and sort of open it up a couple of mil, about 80 thou, and we have to hone them with the coarse stones, because obviously you can't set it up. The bores are not at 90 degrees to the head face, so we have to take those out with the coarse stones, and it can take blooming ages. So fortunately on this is just a first oversize, so this will be probably 20 thou, so not too bad to take out the material on that. And yeah, so that's our first job there from a YouTube subscriber, so really happy about that. Hopefully the channel brings in a lot more work in the new year. So I've ordered the valve seat inserts, the hard valve seat inserts for this Mini, to do the unleaded conversion. And as you can see, I've roughed out the old seat for the new valve seat insert. Now what I've got to do is just do a finishing cut with the correct interference on here. So if I show you what a valve seat insert looks like, this isn't necessarily the right size, but this is what a hardened seat looks like. Okay, so as I say, we've roughed this one out, but those seats they sort of knock in with an interference fit. And when I say interference, that means that the hole has to be, or this diameter has to be slightly smaller than the outside diameter of the insert, so it doesn't go in loose basically. Now we like to put these in with a 6 thou interference, and so we've got the size of the insert that we've ordered, which is 31.85. So convert the 6 thou to metric is 0.15. So 36.85. So we need to be cutting this diameter finish cut to 31.7. And what we do then is we put a high temperature glue in there with it, and then that's belt and braces. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the setting piece for this. Now this machine, I'm sure I've showed you this before, but this is a Centronic, and it's made by a company called Myra. And what we've got here this is a CNC head, which basically means you've got a pilot down here, which fits as you find a pilot. So here's our selection of pilots, and again on this side, you find a pilot that fits most snug into the existing guide, and then you press the button on top here, and if I press that now, you can see that finding the center, that will try and find the center of that hole perfectly, and that's why it's a CNC. And then what you do is you lock it off using this. You've got a magnet base here, which obviously sticks to the bed, and once you've locked that off, when it's found the center, you then wind this down. You've got measurements here that you can use. You wind this down to cut either the seat or whatever cutter you put in there. So at the moment we've got the straight sort of 90-degree cutter in there, so that's what we use for boring for the inserts. So what we're going to do, we're going to go, and now we've roughed these out, we're going to go and set this tool at 31.7. So what we do is, this is what the setting piece sits on, so this goes in instead of the guide. So you see I've put that in there. Now we're going to put on the setting piece. Now we need to set this to 31.7. You've got, just get it focused, so you've got 30 there, go all the way out to 31.7, and that is what we are going to set our tool to. So there we go. You see our tool now is set at that, and the way we test that is if we just back this off, and there we go, it just touches on, and that's set at the correct diameter. So we're going to go ahead now and cut these, and that'll be ready for when the inserts turn up and we can drive those in. So that's the video for today, guys. Until tomorrow. As you can see, I'm home already. Didn't even have time to finish the video. But till tomorrow, thanks very much for watching. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and yeah, see you in another video. Cheers, guys.